You're listening to Live Wild Radio, the part-time adventure podcast.
Join us as we explore how outdoor adventures build mind, body, and spirit.
Welcome back to Live Wild Radio. This is the first episode recorded in 2022. You know, we just did our year-end recap, lessons learned that we always do. And now nothing is more fitting for a number of reasons than an episode on building a home gym. Because A, it's January and everybody wants to get in shape. You know, it's that New Year's resolution thing. And where we are, in Ontario, Canada, we've had another like semi-lockdown where most things are open, but gyms are closed again. So if you haven't put together a home gym yet, this is a perfect time to do it. And well,
I got one more reason.
What's that?
The Omicron virus. It's like spreading like wildfire. Wildfire. Nobody wants to go to their house. Everybody's hunkering. They're self-isolating. I am.
Yeah,
So
I guess that's...
What else am I going to do for mental health?
Yeah, and physical health.
Right.
So today we're going to talk about the reasons why you want a home gym and the benefits of the home gym and how having a home gym you can incorporate a number of little training hacks and things that we recommend for a home gym. And it's kind of segue-ish, if you want to call it, because today's sponsor is Great Lakes Gear, which is where we get all of our fitness equipment from. We're not recording an episode specifically to plug them, but we plug them every time we do an episode anyway. So Great Lakes Gear is a company that does kettlebells, clubs, barbells, squat racks, you know, dumbbells. They do this expensive fancy treadmill. But really the core essentials that you need for a quality home gym, really high quality equipment. The prices are super fair. Like especially, you know, we're big kettlebell fans, and the quality of their kettlebells are among the best I've ever used. And the pricing is, you know, really well priced. Like when you compare to a lot of the other brands out there. So getting great quality equipment at a fair price and, you know, getting it from like great people who really love fitness, you know, and they're a Canadian company. They do ship to the States. So for us, you know, it's awesome to have sort of a partnership with these guys. And what's great is if you use promo code LiveWild, then you will save 5% on your order, and then they kick us back a few points. Doesn't cost you any more. In fact, you save money. And the great thing you'll run into is their website is really easy to follow, shows them what they have in stock. Things are shipped pretty quick. You know, like anytime we pick it up ourselves, and it's always ready quickly. So if you go to greatlakesgear.com, that's GIRYA.com, or us.greatlakesgear.com. If you're an American, it'll probably auto-direct anyway. That's the way the modern things work. And at checkout, you use promo code LiveWild to save 5%, get great equipment, and yeah, and then basically listen to the rest of this episode on what to do, you know, what to get and what to do with it when you get it. You know, we talk about it like our home gym quite often, and we're to the point, like we've canceled all of our gym memberships. You know,
except for the climbing when they're open.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough space for a climbing wall.
Inside. Although we do have a fingerboard.
We do.
That's what I got Catherine for Christmas, to train your fingers. So at least your grip strength is there when you can go back to the climbing gym.
Yeah.
So let's go through, aside from lockdowns, let's go through some of the key benefits of having a home gym.
Yeah, top of mind, and has, in our case, to do with location of our gym, because it's in our living room now. It used to be in our hallway at my old apartment, and at the new apartment, this living room is probably 20 by 13, 25 by 13, something like that. Half of it, or 10 by 12 of it, is our home gym. And, it's central to this house. So it's a part of your life. You see it every day. And it also is something that naturally my kids can get into now, because they couldn't go to the gym.
Yeah, they went to daycare.
That's right. They weren't old enough.
Yeah.
Now they work out with us.
Yep.
And so with Winston's help over the course of the year, they have really improved their form. They use kettlebells, and that's a thing that you need to really be careful of. I wouldn't have had that opportunity, to spend extra time with them, quality time. Now they're into working out.
Yeah. And, and I think it's one of those things too. It's like when you set the example, because days where they're like, I don't think I'll work out. Like, we don't force them to work out.
That's right. Yeah.
But days when it's like, okay, that's cool. We're working out anyway.
It was funny because at the beginning we were encouraging, well, I guess kind of forcing them.
Yeah.
And then I backed off right away, knowing that was a bad idea. And then all of a sudden they started to come around the corner. And there would be days that they'll work out and I won't.
Yeah.
So.
Those are rare, but a lot of it is that thing of like, our kids learn, obviously things we tell them, but they really learn by example. Right? So when they see the mom making fitness a central part of her life, then it just becomes, oh, well, this is just what you do. Right?
They're so lucky.
Yeah.
At their age, because they started at 9 and 7, maybe.
Yeah. And
or, something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever get into strength training until I was maybe a little bit at 16, but really until recently, at 40. So such an important, thing to have in your life for health.
Yeah.
That I think really should be a requirement even in high school to continue, because they learn about their body, about body movement, and, gives them confidence. And
yeah, well, and I think there's all the benefits to fitness, right? There's the physical benefits, there's the psychological benefits, both, better mood, less depression, less anxiety, and more confidence. Like the more things you're good at in life, then the more confident you are, right? Like when you regularly overcome challenges and you see yourself progressing, then you're just more confident in the things you do. Yeah. And I think a lot of times kids don't get opportunities for that. So, things that you have to work for. And the weights basically have no mercy, in the sense that, it's not going to coddle you. It's not going to, tell you you're the champ. Yeah. You can, it's like you either move it or you don't. Right. And so then as you go, and like, Hudson's talked about this, regular, well, I used to be able to use the 8-pound and now I can use the 10-pound and
He's like 40 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. But the fact is that he's moving weights that are more than he used before. Yeah. Right. And that's one of the biggest things, that people really should focus on. And this is nothing to do with home gyms, but focus on who you were yesterday, not what anybody else is doing. Yeah. Right. Because, the fact is that, if you sort of compare yourself to sort of like Instagram fitness influencers, you're just going to hate yourself. Right. There's people who've made their life, just fitness stuff, right? So they look good, in their underpants. And, there's lots of tricks that come into that. But this is all they do. So if you're somebody with a life and jobs and family, it's much more difficult to, look like, whether you're male or female, like a movie star or an action star.
Yeah.
It's get in shape, be functional, and aim to look better and be better than you were previously.
Yeah.
Versus comparing yourself to anybody else.
Yeah. Well, being functional is really important as you age.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things that I really like about the home gym is how in the morning, I may not go and work out, although I should, but I also use it as my place of relaxation and meditation. Mm-hmm. Place to calm down and lie
it's an
down.
open floor space.
Yeah. So just to have that dedicated space there for that, I think is great. What about you? What benefits do you see in having a home gym?
Well, so number one is it never closes, right? There's never a lineup. Very rarely. We might run into the thing like if both of the kids are working out with us.
Yeah.
We got to get organized with who's where so people aren't banging into each other because we don't have a huge gym. But, the fact is that all four of us have worked out in your old apartment.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because in the old apartment, it was like an 8x10 area, like in a weird shape. Not even, maybe 5x7.
Yeah, because it was in the hallway.
Yeah, so we had one kid in the galley of the kitchen.
Yeah. One kid in the living room.
Two of us in the other area,
Yeah.
facing different directions, and do not walk around as we're working out, because you might clocked with a kettlebell.
Yeah.
Which Amanda almost did that one time.
Yeah, because you want to go to the bathroom, so her mom's doing swings.
And she just walks right as I pull back. And
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
it's like do not, when somebody's do not, and like I reiterated it like 5 or 6 times, right?
Yeah.
Super stern.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing she does? Oh, I got to go to the bathroom.
It was like that moment out of Indiana Jones when the ball swings.
Swinging. And it was just like, just dive past it.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
And she didn't even notice.
No.
And I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. So if we could do it then and manage not any no
catastrophic, kettlebell injuries.
Yeah, then you can do it too.
Yeah.
You can figure it out. But
so that's number one. Another one I think really is that instead of the going to the gym being okay, it takes me 10 minutes to get there, and then I got to get changed, and then I got to this, and then so it's a sizable time commitment, right?
yeah.
When you have a home gym, because like the program I have set up for you right now, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's your, if you want to call it evening workouts, the ones we do together.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 days a week, you have a 10-minute thing to do it each day.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 days a week are fingerboard,
Mm-hmm.
right, for your grip, and 3 days a week are just 10 minutes of kettlebell swings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you had to go to the gym, it wouldn't be 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
right? It'd be, 10 minutes to get there,
Yeah.
go in, do it, and then 10 minutes to come home.
And we know from experimentation that frequency and low volume will get you far.
Yeah.
So if that means that, whatever it is, something that requires you to be in a gym, you can now do that at home.
Yep.
It facilitates that, especially if you work from home.
Yeah.
But if you're just home in different parts of the day, times of the day, you can do it too.
You can do something quickly in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Like it changes the template that, you could do, let's say, 2 10-minute workouts, like one in the morning, one at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working from home, for instance.
Yeah.
2 10-minute bits and then a 20-minute thing at night or half an hour at night.
Especially if you're struggling because you work at your desk all day and you're at home and you need to move.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't. They just get glued to their computer. If you can set an alarm every hour for 10 minutes, go move.
Yeah.
And that be part of your movement snack. Go do some swings, go do some chin-ups, go do some push-ups. And that's part of what we kind of alluded to, frequency, right? But
Yep.
There's something called grease the groove, where essentially if you do multiples of those items, right, or whatever, you pick something, say chin-ups, So you do 1 or 2 chin-ups. It's got to be easy. But
Yeah.
you do them like 10 times, 10 sets of them in a day. If you do that every day for a month, you will have significant gains.
Yeah.
And I experienced that. And we'll talk about this more in another episode, the Easy Strength program, where you essentially do a workout, which took me 10 minutes, 5 days a week. And you're like, honestly, almost bored because
It's too easy.
It's too easy. It's like, like, really? Am I getting? And then you come back, and then here I am doing, I can squat now a 65-pound kettlebell. It's not easy. It's work, but I can do it.
Yeah.
I remember I went to, what was the other big?
Was it pull-up?
Yeah, pull-ups. Yeah, pull-ups, chin-ups. I can now do,
You can do at least one real one, like full, no assistance.
I can do 2.
Yeah.
I mean, assisted.
No, I mean no assistance.
Oh, no assistance. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But assisted using a 30-pound band.
Yeah, you can do 5.
I can do 5.
Yeah.
3 for sure. The last 2 are
But
tied.
remember the other day?
Well, you helped me.
But that was, you did 5 after you already did a bunch of other hard shit.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That workout I took you through.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't just fresh.
Yeah.
But that's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
And I think the last piece would have been like we were doing double kettlebell cleans. So I had 2 30-pound.
35s.
30.
16 kilos.
Oh, really? Okay. I had 35 in each hand kettlebells. I'm swinging it up to my shoulders to a rack position, and then I'm pressing them above.
Yeah.
So 70 pounds ahead.
Overhead.
And Winston reminded me, remember when we were at the gym?
Pressing a barbell.
Yeah, you couldn't even do that much.
Yeah.
I think I did like 60 pounds.
Yeah, it was like 65.
Max. And that was in my best shape ever.
Yeah.
That was years ago. And the fact that I can do it now with kettlebells, which is harder.
Yeah.
And it was awkward because I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
I wasn't straining because I was weak. It was just awkward.
Yeah. But that was the first time you've ever done doubles yesterday.
And the other day I did a complex. So it was, I'm trying to remember because I did the doubles. I did a bunch of doubles, and in the past I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So swinging them just to the rack position where they're at your shoulders or your chest, that's not hard at all.
No.
That's easy. In the past, that was hard. Like I was struggling. So clearly these are, so what I'm trying to communicate is that the Easy Strength program and the frequency, low volume, but lots of, is super effective. And it really helps when you do have a home gym to go do that.
Yeah. Because
doing that at work seems weird.
Yeah.
Wherever you work,
well, and that's it. We have this idea that a workout has to be this one thing all done together, right? But your body, if you've done the work, right, you add up the volume you've done over the course of a week, whether you did it in 3 sessions or you did it in 10 sessions, right, it's total workload over the course of the week, right? So if you break up, you don't have maybe 45 minutes to do a workout. So if you do 2 10-minute workouts and then you do 20 minutes in the evening or 25 minutes, well, you've done 45 minutes that day.
Yeah, well, that's true for strength, but for endurance or cardio, not as much, right?
No, but if you're doing it, it will have a carryover effect, right? Because you've built work capacity, right? Like half of what we call endurance is the ability to do things over and over again without getting tired. Well, if you've gradually increased your volume because you've increased the frequency, right? Yes, there will be a certain huffing and puffing part,
right?
But the fact is that if you get, a bunch of walking in, or weighted walking, those types of things, which again, if you've got, a weighted vest or a backpack with some weights that you just keep by the door, throw it on, go out for 15, 20 minutes. That is going to add up over time, right? If there's some specific cardio you want to build, right, for making yourself a better biker, like cyclist or a runner or something like that, then that's a different story. But the fact is that you haven't really been doing any cardio, you know, in the last few months.
Yeah.
Yet when we went hiking in Quebec, you know, last week.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
But, and I experimented with this in the past where all I did was strength training, hopped on my bike, you know, and compared to a couple of years ago when I did this one hill, it was fucking easy.
Yeah.
But that was because I had the power.
Yep.
You know, there's that carryover effect where the power compensates where in the past you didn't have it. And therefore you're huffing and puffing.
Yep.
It was a harder load on your body.
Yeah.
So strength, we've talked about this in the past. If I had to pick between strength and cardio, I'd always pick strength first.
Yeah, because,
in terms of training.
Well, because the thing is too is that if you take and shorten your rest periods a little bit, then you'll get a cardiovascular benefit out of it as well. Like because your heart rate will stay fairly elevated for the whole workout.
Yeah.
Right. So
you can achieve in your home gym. You don't have to go and buy a treadmill or a bike or all these other things to get your cardio workouts.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that again. You don't have to, because I think that was a big thing for me to get past.
Yeah.
I didn't realize by just doing more, shorter rest periods that you could get that. And it was so effective. And it showed when I got back on my bike for mountain biking. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Wow.
Yeah.
Or when I did the 10,000 kettlebell swing challenge, 500 swings a workout in a half hour.
Yeah.
Right. That did loads for my
your cardio. Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I was like huffing and puffing. But
well, the first day it did.
Yes, it did. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did. And what was so cool is within the week. Like
you'd already started to adapt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun to see. And then by the end of it, it was just like,
it
was meditative.
Yeah.
It was like, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just, wanting to get close to finishing the challenge.
Yeah.
So let's talk about size. What's a good size for your home gym?
Well, and this is one of those things where part of it's going to depend how many people you want working out at once. If it's only one person at a time, or just one person, like you just want something for yourself. If you had a sheet of plywood, 4 foot by 8 foot, right? You can get in that space a killer workout, right? Because if you think about, you want enough room to be able to get down into the push-up position. So that sort of varies a little bit depending on how tall you are. And obviously to squat doesn't take much room. To swing, you want to make sure you're not going to hit anything, but a swing or a hip hinge doesn't take much room. To row doesn't take much room. And even like one of our favorite things to do is loaded carries, which is basically just picking up a heavy weight and walking with it. When it's wintertime, we do that up and down the hallway.
Yeah.
So don't drop it on your nice floors.
Right.
But other than that, you really don't need, like for one person, that much space.
Yeah. So we have laminate flooring here.
Yeah.
And so what we decide to lay down, because we rent, is horse stall mats.
Yep.
So I think they're about 1 inch thick.
Yeah, 1 inch thick, and ours are like 4 foot by 6 foot.
Yeah.
So we've got like 3 wide, 2 long. So it's like 10 by 12.
Right.
And they come in different sizes, so you can mix and match, whatever your space is.
Yeah, and different patterns or textures on them. And they're pretty hard. So you're not, if you're looking for like a foam pad, you're not going to get that, but you're certainly going to get the anti-slip. Yeah. Which I think is super
And then
important.
If you drop a kettlebell on the floor, you're not going to hurt the floor underneath.
And it's a soundproof. It helps to soundproof.
Dampen, yeah.
Dampens that, from downstairs. So we like that a lot. Fans.
Yes.
Really important. Got them on Kijiji.
Yep.
I don't know, $20 each, maybe some. Yeah, about that. Got 3 of them.
Yeah, because keeping airflow in the area and because you're working in a contained space, you can get hot in a hurry. So we've got 3 fans. So pretty much wherever, you move around the area, you got a fan blowing on you. That makes a big difference as far as being able to work hard because you're not overheating. In the old place, we only had 1 fan. And in the winter, we used to open the window.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was weird because the cold air would settle on the floor height.
Yeah.
Right? So, but when you're done working, your feet are cold.
Yeah.
So it's nice having the fans, like moving the air around.
We also really like, and at first you're like, I don't need this, but the yoga mats, we put them over the horse stall mats.
Yeah. So if you're down doing any...
on your knees, or I like them under my feet,
Yeah.
whatever. It's just an added piece of comfort, but it's not necessary. And then you can move it to other parts of the, the adjacent space in case there's more people and you want more room. So now you've got that. So we have a couple of those. Again, I got those at Value Village, super cheap.
Yeah.
Let's talk about equipment.
Yeah.
I think that's what people really want to know.
Yeah. So basically, here's the thing for people to wrap their head around. There's no best, right? We'll take you through what we've done and
Which has
why.
given us a ton of results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, other approaches you can take. So for most people, if you're familiar with barbell exercises, presses, rows, squats, deadlifts, you're comfortable doing those in the gym, then I would probably recommend getting like a squat rack or a power rack and a barbell. Because if they're exercises you already know how to do, basically, you can do complexes, which is basically doing, say, sets of 5 of like 5 different exercises before you ever put the barbell down. You can do that with a barbell. So you can get like a great conditioning benefit out of a barbell, but you can also get really strong with a barbell. You and I trained with barbells for years.
But I'm stronger now with this home gym.
But
Wouldn't you say?
You can't discount the 4 or like 3.5, 4 years of work that you put in with barbells.
Okay.
Before we started doing this at home.
I just can see it now.
Yeah.
So, because I've lost some weight, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you obviously see the muscles and everything. So I think as a overall balanced tool, because when I'm a unrepentant meathead. So when we're training with barbells, I tend to train a certain way, even though you can do different techniques or different training approaches with them. I tend to default to old habits, right? Whereas when I train with kettlebells, I train a different way, right? It's sort of like, not to say that a lot of the techniques we've used, we could do EMOMs with barbells, right? We could do complexes with barbells.
EMOM is every minute on the minute.
So that you set a timer and you do 10 sets of an exercise in 10 minutes. So it really naturally shortens your rest periods. And we even did that, it was something I was incorporating into some of our workouts while we were still training at the gym, right? It can sometimes be tricky in a commercial gym because it's like getting things ready and then not having other people.
The plates, yeah. If we're alternating back and forth.
Yeah. So whereas you've got your kettlebells, I got my kettlebells.
It's more efficient.
Yeah.
And because you're just go every minute on the minute, it shortens that rest period. Therefore, you get a cardio workout.
Yeah.
So it's a twofer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the best way to get strong. Like if only strength was your goal, it's not the best way to do it. It's not the best pure cardio conditioning, but you run into the thing where the fact that it works on all of these different things at once.
It's efficient.
Yeah.
And I think in a way, efficiency for time will trump out getting maximal strength and cardio performance otherwise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In terms of people's time commitments and they want to see maximal returns for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I think
that worked for me.
Yeah. Because you're getting a big return on the time you're investing.
Yeah.
Right? You're getting stronger, even though maybe if we did a pure strength program with a barbell, in that same time period, you would have gotten a little bit stronger, but you wouldn't have gotten as cardiovascularly fit. Mm-hmm. And if we did a pure endurance training program, you might have gotten more cardiovascularly fit, but you wouldn't have gotten as strong. Mm-hmm. Right? So it becomes kind of a approach that allows you to, for X amount of time, like a half an hour, 4 times a week, see very tangible results.
So because we believe in this approach and it's worked well for us, and because it's lower weight and higher volume,
yep,
it's easier on our joints.
Yep.
We feel better to go and do it the next day. We can do it more frequently in the week. We ended up creating a home gym using to start with. We had resistance bands.
Yep. One kettlebell.
We had a TRX.
Yep.
Now we have rings. And but let's talk about what we started off with in the year, because there was a couple phases that you saw massive performance, and results. So take us through that. We were doing upper body, complete body workouts.
Yeah, full body workouts.
I don't know, 3-4 days a week, something like that. Probably about 40 minutes on average. And the TRX is phenomenal. Okay, I can't say enough of that for upper body in particular. So your back, your shoulders, your biceps. So we were doing a lot of rows.
Yeah.
And because you can adjust your body position, your feet placement, you can control how much harder it is.
Yeah.
Right now, my feet are right up to the wall. I don't know what degree angle I'm at, but I'm pretty
low.
Low.
The lower you are, the higher percentage of your body you're lifting.
Yeah. So that helped me quite a bit. At times I might have had some issues with my elbows, like tendonitis. So I had to ease off a little bit, but now they're back to normal and it's really strong. Mm-hmm. You can do it. I think you can change your grip placement to make things harder. Yep. Right. And you can, how slowly you let go, you row or.
Yeah. There's all variations.
But the point is that you can vary all of this to make it harder, right? It's not like you have to add more weights.
Yeah.
And then with the TRX, you can also do one arm body rows. You can do a lot of those things. So there's a lot of things you can do to support good health. And you can do push-ups. You just turn around and you have it lower to the ground. Yep.
So they're just above the ground. And obviously the higher you put the handles, and this is whether you're using a TRX or Gymnastics Rings, the higher they are off the ground, the easier it is. Mm-hmm. The closer they are to the floor, the harder it is. Like I position them where, they're maybe an inch off the ground doing push-ups, right? So it's almost exactly the same position I'd be if I was doing normal push-ups with my hands on the floor. Only when you've got your hands in the gymnastics rings, they're not stable.
That's right.
Right? So, and you can move further than you can when you're doing push-ups on the floor, because you can't go past the floor. But you can actually have a little fuller range of motion. You can get a bit of more stretch at the bottom because the rings allow you to move a little further, right? Like if you've got them right on the floor or, close to it, then you can't go any further.
Yeah.
But then you can also, when you're doing push-ups on the floor, you can't move your hands during a rep.
Whereas with those you can. Yeah.
As you reach the top, you squeeze them together, and it's one of the nastiest pec burns you ever get.
Yeah.
Like I would take those over bench press for
oh really
pec development.
Yeah.
Because it's a bigger range of motion than you get with the bench press.
So you hit all the muscles.
And you hit the entire pec, and you're hitting your triceps, and you're hitting your delts, like your front delts, but you're also in the plank position, so you're hitting your core, right? And it's an unstable plank, right? So
Yeah.
one exercise has been super effective, hits a bunch of things.
Yeah. The planks.
You know, and then when you're
Body
doing
rows.
body rows, they're a reverse plank
Yeah.
that you have to hold yourself in.
Yeah.
But then you're also hitting all the pulling muscles, all of the forearms, the biceps, the rear delts, all the muscles in your upper back, the postural muscles. Like when you do a lot of rowing, it helps undo sort of that forward hunch people get on their computers or on their phones.
Yeah.
So you can get like great workout just from those two exercises. You know, like ring push-ups or TRX push-ups and rows. You push, you pull.
Yeah, because going back to the basics, when we've talked a lot about this in other podcasts, you want to push and pull in a workout. Then for lower body, you want to squat and a hip hinge.
Yeah.
And you want a one-legged, you want a farmer's carry.
A loaded carry.
A loaded carry in your hands. So you're walking around, whether it's in two hands, one hand, loaded carry. But the other thing that we really like, and you've already, these exercises touch upon this, is full body movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Like compound movements that hit a lot of things.
Yeah. It really is super effective. And that's why we like, doing the push-ups on the rings where you you hit the full pec versus on the bench press.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that the push-ups, because your shoulders aren't pinned to a bench the way it would be with a bench press, right? Because, you're pinned down on the bench. It's healthier for your shoulders. Your shoulders can move freely. Your shoulder blades can move freely.
Yeah.
Because you think about all the times over the years, you and I working out, and I'd have to come up with something different to do because my shoulder was hurting.
That's right.
Right? Bench press hurt my shoulder.
Yeah.
But I could always do push-ups. I could always do, ring push-ups, TRX push-ups, those types of things because my shoulders were free to move. They didn't give me the same, like, niggles in my shoulders.
Yeah.
So, it kind of ties into our longevity episodes about choosing things that you can do for the long term. But, and even when you get strong enough that just sort of straight ring push-ups, you can wear a weighted vest, right?
Yeah.
Like I've done push-ups with Hudson sitting on my back.
Yeah, that's a great tool, the weighted vest. I've got a weighted vest and it's got sand in the little sand blocks. Yeah. So it's a 40-pound vest and there's 40 of them or 35 because the vest weighs about 5 pounds. And, you start off at about 20 pounds and then you add every week whenever you go walking. But weighted hikes, and we've talked about this in the past, are just as effective, maybe 85-90% effective as running in terms of the benefit without the impact.
Yeah.
So, if you have issues with joints or older, don't like running.
Or you're big, like, or you're heavier.
Yeah.
Like, because we both run into the thing where neither of us are big, but, I run into the thing. I will go out when the weather's good. I will do hill sprints. Like, they don't have a lot of impact because you're running uphill.
Yeah.
But just going for a run beats the shit out of me. And look, I got a body that's got a lot of miles on it. But, I'm the stocky guy.
Yeah.
I've never been built for running.
Yeah.
So things like, if you think about like when you run, you will tend to have a higher heart rate than when you walk, right? It seems natural. You're going faster. But instead of going faster, if you carry more load, that's another way of increasing the stimulus.
And if you add hiking poles,
then now you're getting some upper body in it. So again,
and
you get a higher heart rate.
And you will actually walk faster with hiking poles. And it's actually better for your knees as well. Because I have knee issues and I noticed a difference with that. But that will get you moving faster and your arms are moving. So those are some great ways to add in some cardio, but then you can incorporate that, as you mentioned, into your strength training. Because there's a couple things that I noticed with the body rows, it's getting too easy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to make it harder. you know, now I can add some weight.
Yeah. So it's the thing. You can lower the rings.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Yeah. So your back's almost touching the floor.
Maybe I can try that
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's low, yeah.
You can do more reps.
Yeah.
You can cut your rest periods. Mm-hmm. You can pause at the top.
Yeah, slow your tempo.
Like hold it for like a 3 count. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden.
Maybe pulse, things like that.
Yeah. But if you when you squeeze, like you pull yourself up so towards the ring, so now your thumbs are touching your ribs. Mm-hmm. Hold that for 3 seconds each rep. Mm-hmm. Whatever number of reps you can do is cut in half. So there's a bunch of techniques you can do to make even just body weight exercises harder. And
really you can apply this to all your exercises.
Yeah.
So think about that. There's more longevity out of your gear than you might initially think.
Yeah.
So we talked about the rings and the TRX.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I can't recommend enough to people is get a pull-up bar.
Yeah, and I have to admit, at the beginning, I was not convinced. And I think you bought it for this apartment. Was it a Christmas gift, or you just bought it? It was a contribution to our gym here. And I was like, whatever, I'm not using that. Now I do.
Yeah.
Because you got to work towards it. It takes time. But I do recommend it now that I have gained the fitness and the strength to
because there's pull-ups.
Yeah.
But then it also gives you a perfect thing to attach the gymnastics rings to.
It's true.
Right? And the gymnastics rings, you can raise right up and do pull-ups on them. You can lower them down and do body rows.
Yeah.
You can lower them down and do push-ups. You can sort of have them at a middle height and actually literally just support your weight off the ground, like straight-armed.
Like the gymnasts do in
just
rings. Yeah.
Like you see in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Forget any of the spinny, jumpy shit they do. Just hold yourself with your feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Right? With your hands are
it's hard.
Against your thighs or against your hips. Mm-hmm. Your whole body's engaged just to hold you there.
Yeah.
Right? And then as you get stronger, you work on turning the wrists out.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were saying, look at gymnasts. They don't, all they do is all body resistance. And,
but if you've got the high bar and you have rings.
You've got the high and low, with the rings.
You're going to end up with, basically among the best arm development of any athlete.
Yeah.
You're going to end up with, pec development, shoulder development, because they also do a lot of handstands and, that kind of thing. But if you forget the flippy, showy part of gymnastics, just training on that apparatus, right? And if you think about like a high bar, that's a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
You're just not going to spin around it like they do.
Yeah.
But just pulling yourself up to it, gradually getting to a muscle up. There's all these different exercises you can do.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Sorry. So the rings cost how much?
$30
off Amazon. And then at Great Lakes Gear, we bought the chin-up bar. It is it's like a professionally gym grade
pull-up
bar that has different hand positions.
Yeah.
And it was $100.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's great value, actually. And a lot of people ask, well, where do I put it? It's got to be in my, in my garage. We're like, no, we have it in our living room. We found the studs. So for people who aren't so crafty or handy, you just buy the stud finders. They're magnets. They're like really strong magnets. You put on the wall, you find the studs.
Yeah, you find where the screws are.
Yeah. I didn't know this before, so this was a thing. Because I thought you had to knock on the wall before. Anyway, and I would poke a whole bunch of holes, and I'd miss every time. So this is a thing for me. And then what we did is that we got plywood.
No, 2x6s.
Sorry, 2x6s. And so we, nail those into with
screwed.
Screwed. How long are the screws?
4-inch.
4-inch. So it's solid, and we have a whole bunch of them. And then we put the chin-up bar on it, and we
through the 2x6s into the studs.
Yeah.
using like 5-inch long lag bolts.
Yeah.
And they're like 3/8 lag bolts that are 5 inches long. There's 6 of them.
So you should be able to hang a truck off of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And
what did it take? Half an hour for us to put it up?
yeah, I did.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was like magnets to find the studs. And if you got a stud finder,
Yeah.
that's what it uses too.
Yeah.
And
it looks good.
A drill, an impact driver to drive the screws, and a level.
Yeah.
Because when you get the 2x6, the first one, you get it level and screwed into the wall. Then the next one goes on top, and we got 4 pieces. And yeah, like it, it looks cool. It's super functional. Like we use it every day. And that's one of those things where if you don't have a piece of equipment like that, you're never going to get any good at pull-ups. Right.
Well, that's the thing is, I wasn't, and I remember you told me by the end of this 1 month I'd do a pull-up, and I laughed at you last year. And I had issues with my elbow, so I couldn't actually do the training properly. But, truth be told, like the entire year I've been working out, and then I go and do a pull-up, and I'm like, holy shit, I just did a pull-up.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to work on pull-ups, but you work on all these other things. And I will say for upper body strength, body rows, I can't say enough of. Like that in itself was phenomenal because I think that really built me up.
No, and I think it's one of those things too, and it's like you can't see it really.
My back.
But the fact that like when you're like in a tank top, like your best developed body part is your upper back.
Yeah. It's too bad I can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I've had people say that. I'm like, I wish I could see it.
It's like, and well, now your delts are really popping.
Yeah.
Right. Your shoulders.
Yeah, I like them.
And that comes
No.
from,
Yeah.
Lots of rows that.
And traps.
That's probably from the years of deadlifting.
Do you think? Yeah.
Well, that really hits the traps. But then carries do too.
Got it.
There's all these different things that work together.
Okay. So we talked about the rows.
Yeah.
And the chin-up bar.
Yep.
What about the resistance bands? What's your next favorite? Is it the kettlebell?
By far.
Yeah.
Like to me, the big thing comes in. It's like if I was going super simple, pull-up bar with rings to hang off of it, and a collection of different weight kettlebells.
So this is if you have no other weights.
Yeah.
Okay, because kettlebells, you can do the same thing you can with dumbbells.
And then you can do things you can't do.
With dumbbells,
yeah.
So with dumbbells, pretty much what you would, with kettlebells, whatever you did with dumbbells for upper body, you can do with kettlebells. And it's even harder because now you've got this ball with a handle, right?
Yeah.
In your hand, and it's kind of wobbly. So depending on where it goes. So that adds more instability and it requires more control.
Yeah.
Especially for press. It really tests your shoulder girdle and what's happening there. Okay. And balance and etc. So as far as squat, either your lower body, that's where it all comes into play. Things like hip hinge movements.
Yeah. The swing, the clean, the snatch. They're all.
And full body movements.
Yeah.
Right. That are really super powerful. I didn't appreciate until I started doing it what kettlebell swings could do for you. And I really saw it after the kettlebell swing challenge because that's all I did.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, it's in total 10,000 swings
It's
you do.
in 28 days.
Yeah.
Or 30 days.
A month, whatever.
Yeah.
500 each workout.
5 days a week.
Yeah. And so it totally strengthens your posterior chain. So your entire back from your back down to your feet, right?
Yep.
It really, I noticed a big improvement on my grip.
Yep.
Right.
Because you got to hold on to the thing.
Yeah. At the beginning.
Or else you've let a cannonball across your room.
I know. And so definitely, and also cardio.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You're doing 500 swings in half an hour.
In my case, we put a time on it.
Yeah.
Because usually when you do this challenge, you can just do it throughout the course of the day, or it could take you an hour. It doesn't matter. Just do it. We did every minute on the minute.
Yeah.
20 swings. So, yeah, the kettlebell, I love it for that.
Yeah.
I love it for goblet. You can do your squats with it, goblet squats where you hold the weight, and you can do that with a dumbbell too.
Yeah.
But as you said, you can start to do complex movements. So you can do with kettlebells, you do a swing, you do a clean, which you bring it to your chest. A snatch is when you take it straight up, right?
Yep.
Which I don't know how to do yet. I'm just doing.
You just started doing cleans last week.
Yeah, and so to give me a sense of progress, last year, towards the beginning when I first started working out, you gave me, I think, 2 30-pound or 35-pound kettlebells.
Well, because it was like after you done the 10,000 swing challenge.
Was it after that?
Yeah. I helped you because you didn't know how to clean them yet. Like take them from the floor up to your shoulder height.
Right.
So I helped you get them up there. You lifted one up and then I lifted and held the other one to get in place just for you to do front squats with them.
And was that with 25 or 35 pounds?
35 because it was a pair. We don't have a pair of 26s.
And I remember I stumbled.
You got 2 reps and then you couldn't hold them up anymore and they dropped.
Yeah, I did the first, and then the second one, I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't. And then we did it yesterday, and I could probably go up to 45.
On the clean?
Yeah. It was,
I don't think you could press it, but...
No, I don't think I can press it. And I did press the 2 35 pounds, so 70 pounds over my head, which is when you told me, like, Catherine, you just broke a record. You know that? Yeah. I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm not aware of my PRs.
Yeah. You'd be more proud of yourself if you actually kept track of anything.
Yeah. But anyway, so that progress was done this year in this home gym.
Yeah.
For example, right? And I did press it. I did it, no problem. It was a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
So to do 45 pounds, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't attempt it.
No.
Not with 2.
But the fact that like the clean is the easy part for you with these.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I could easily do a complex. So multiple things before I put them down.
And that's what we're going to do on Thursday.
Yeah, that'll be fun because that's all new for me.
Yeah. Whole new skill set.
But I love the kettlebells that, think about what you want to do with dumbbells. Like you can even do body rows. You just hunch over.
You just do bent over rows.
So you can do a lot of upper body work and lower with just one tool.
Yeah.
So I think the question everybody asks though is, what do I start off with for weights?
Well, and that always does become a little tricky because I don't know where you are. Like where you are in your fitness journey sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because where generally they say women, when this is just those general kettlebell recommendations, for swings, women, when they start, 8 to 12 kilos.
Wow.
And
so that's like 16 to 17 to 25 pounds.
Yeah. Whereas you started with 16 kilos.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I'm doing,
you're doing
pounds.
the 24 kilos.
Yeah.
You're using the guys' weights.
Yeah. But
right.
I've been working out.
Yeah.
But
you know what I mean? So it's difficult at any point to sort of say what weight somebody should start with.
Yeah. Is that where they just go into the store and swing one around? And
well, and this is always the
that?
trick with, like a lot of places would let you, try.
Go to Canadian Tire.
Yep.
Walmart.
But don't buy the kettlebells there. They're garbage.
Yeah, but just
they always
have
the ridge on them that'll tear your hands up. And this is the thing with any of the complex kettlebell movements, is, the trick is learning to do them properly, right? Because anything you're doing ballistically, like the explosive movements of swings, clean, snatches, when you're literally, throwing a weight around, if you don't do it correctly, you can hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's always one of those things that I'm always a little leery of. I don't want to, oh man, everybody should do swings. Like, I think everybody should first learn how to hip hinge properly. Like if a person can't hip hinge, slowly, then they have no business doing it fast.
Right. And so if you're in the gym and you're doing things like, what's it called? Good mornings?
Good mornings or Romanian deadlifts.
Yeah, that's the kind of movement pattern
We're talking about a hinge.
that we want you to work on first.
Yeah.
And so with my kids, you took them through that. That was their workout.
Yeah.
You gave them a kettlebell. The lightest we had, I think, was 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Or a dumbbell. And just work on that movement pattern because that
Yeah.
was part of stage one before you pick up and swing.
Yeah.
Right? But regardless, so putting the swings aside and the complexes, even if you don't do that because you want to be trained properly for that, and we recommend that you are, or that you get somebody to help you, you can still accomplish the other things that you normally would accomplish with a dumbbell. And so our point is, if you're going to work towards, like, you get more, we think, and the grips on them too are fatter.
Yeah. So there's more grip training.
Yeah. And so it makes it really great for things like weighted carries.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, again, don't throw away your dumbbells. You can always
If you got them, use them.
Yeah. And then another awesome trick that's worth the investment are these bands you tie around your arms or your legs are called blood occlusion bands.
Or blood flow restriction bands, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they do exactly that. They restrict the blood flow, which means less oxygen to your muscles. So where that's happening, it creates the same stimulus effect of intensity on your muscles that you would normally get if you had heavier weights.
Yeah.
So that's great for when you have injuries and you want to scale back your weight training, whether in the gym or at home. Or you can do it at home and you can mimic like you're doing a heavier weight, but you're not.
Yeah. Like, it's one of the things that I love with it is because like our heaviest dumbbells are 20 pounds because we put all of our money into the kettlebells. If I am feeling like want to work the guns for the girls' day, I'll put the bands on, and then I'm doing curls with like 12 or 15 pound dumbbells, and then doing tricep extensions with lightweight dumbbells.
Yeah,
but I do this abbreviated. It's quite a simple little workout. 30 reps, then 30 seconds rest. So 30 dumbbell curls with a really light weight, 30 seconds rest, then a set of 20, 30 seconds rest, and then 2 sets of 15 with 30 seconds rest in between. So it's 4 sets. And then I do 4 sets of like tricep extensions. And then you take the bands off and you've got the biggest pump you have ever gotten. I did that for 2 months as part of one of my, training cycles in the fall. And you measured my arms and my arms have gone up half an inch. Right. And like, I'm not doing heavy curls or, and I'm doing a lot of pressing and a lot of push-ups and pull-ups and all of that stuff's going to help as well. But my only direct arm work was light weights with the bands, like with the blood flow restriction bands, and just got a huge pump on.
and I think they're about $40.
Yeah,
$30.
for leg and arm.
Yeah.
Like they're not expensive. But one of the great things with it is that if you, say, doing a lot of heavy stuff hurts your elbows, well, you can do a lot of light work and get the benefit out of it.
Yeah.
With and that's not going to be hard on the elbows. In fact, it'll help them because you get a lot of blood flow to the area. And it can be great for climbers as well. So if you're a rock climber, doing grip work, fingerboard work with the blood flow restriction bands on means you don't have to pull as hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because you're going to get a pump without as heavy of a load, right? So it allows you to get more muscular work without increased load on the tendons. Right? So it's another, little trick, a hack that
It's a good hack.
Yeah, that can work very effectively.
Yeah. And what about the so yeah, we sort of recap, we talked about the rings, the chin-up bar, the kettlebells.
Yep.
So to simplify it, that's what we'd recommend. We do have resistance bands.
Yep.
And we've used them for a lot of more upper body. Although we have also, if you want to add more to your like good mornings, we'll wrap them around because they're loops, right? So we'll step into it.
And then put it behind your head.
So that when you stand up, there's a ton of resistance. And our set of bands come in packs of 4 from, I think, like, I don't know, 5 pounds resistance all the way up to 125, something like that. And then we also use them, or we both do, actually, for chin-ups.
Yep.
Pull-ups for support, right? You stand in it.
Put it around the chin-up bar, pull it down, put a foot in it, and it takes off a certain amount of weight.
You know how, like, at the gym, they have those ones that you kneel on?
The machine that helps, with the plates?
You don't need that.
Yeah, you got it at home.
Resistance band, save you $1,000 or whatever.
Yeah, or machine cost. Yeah. Well, the other thing I'll use them for, too, is I'll sometimes put it around the kettlebell handle and then stand in it when I'm doing swings.
Yeah.
And that gets you, because then, it's more resistance going up, but then the band loads up like a slingshot, and it speeds up the descent. Like it shoots it back down. Now, this is an advanced move. You really want to have your swing dialed in, right? Because obviously you're dealing with higher forces, but it's a great way of training explosive power. So it's one that I'll use occasionally to really get some snap in the hips.
Yeah.
And it takes, it's sort of another trick that I'll do before I'm ready to go up a weight in kettlebells. I'll do some time with the band. Like I'll add in the red band, which is sort of one of our lighter bands. And it just ups the intensity of that weight that little bit instead of going up a full, because the kettlebells we have are in 4 kilo jumps, so that's another little trick.
Yeah.
So there's a few things you can do with the bands.
They're great for core work if you want to. Is it press up? What was it?
The Palloff press.
Palloff press. Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, Palloff. And what it is, it's just an anti-rotation exercise. So you attach a band, and you can do this with a pulley machine at the gym. You attach the band to a solid upright and step away. So you're 90 degrees to that upright. You're standing, and you've got the band in your hand, and you hold it close to your chest, and now you extend your arms out in front of you. Well, the band, the tension wants to twist your body, so your core has to be firing to resist that rotation.
That's a good one.
So it's a great for training all those little spinal stabilizers. And, what we want to run into with things like that. And it's the same thing, say, with kettlebells. If any of the time you're doing one-armed movements, right, like a press or a clean, because you're only loading one side at a time, all the core muscles have to be firing on the other side to stabilize you, right, to keep you straight up and down or to keep you from rotating, right? If you're doing a one-arm swing, your body wants to twist, right? So you have to engage hard to keep proper alignment, right, and not be twisted, right? So there's a lot of sort of ancillary benefits that come from unbalanced training like that.
Yeah, I've got some pretty protruding spinal erectors, eh?
Yeah.
From all the training that we've done.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with the kettlebell swings, the rows, but also this kind of work.
Yep.
And then finally, one of our last piece of gear that we really enjoy is the ab roller.
Yeah. And it's like a $10 or $20 piece. It's evil. It only does one exercise.
But it's effective.
Yeah. One of the podcasts I listen to, like Pat Flynn, he's a kettlebell guy. And he's talking about home gyms sometimes or, working out. And of course he's a kettlebell guy. So he's always talking about kettlebells, but it's and ab wheel. Ab wheel does ab wheel.
Yeah.
But that's all it needs to do.
Because it does your entire core, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got an anti-rotation element. It actually, quite honestly, though, yes, it
Does your
works.
lats as well?
Yeah, because you roll. You start. Obviously, most people will start on their knees.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be super strong to stand on your feet to do it. But you're kneeling with the wheel in front of you. You get your hands on the handles on either side of the wheel, and you roll the wheel out until your nose is just over the floor. Your arms are extended out over your head.
And roll back. And that requires a lot of lats.
Yeah, lats, grip,
Triceps,
ribs,
yeah.
triceps, core,
Everything.
So it's
It's hard at first. I remember the first time I did it, I just flopped.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily obviously have to go all the way, and you don't want to start, but progression adds up.
Yeah, because one of the
that
things
surprised me.
we did with the kids is I would just take a kettlebell
And mark where to...
and they would just roll till they touch the kettlebell and come back.
Yeah, but you don't want to come all the way back. You want to be under
keep
constant
tension.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where then they could just go a little further, a little further, a little further, until you're getting full extension, and then you're coming in and full extension. Yeah, it's a great tool.
Yeah. So those are our key items. I do have my trainer here, but currently it's more of a jacket rack. So I haven't been as diligent with it.
Yeah, because that's another piece that for anybody who's a cyclist, a indoor bike trainer or like a Peloton, like a spin bike. But for somebody who is a cyclist, I actually recommend a trainer because then you're riding your own bike on it. And you can get the fancy electronic ones with Zwift, and you race people online and all that kind of thing. And if that keeps you engaged doing it, then it's awesome, right? The big key is just don't race. Like if you do get one of the electronic trainers, because it's so easy to get caught in like down the rabbit hole of like online races. If you're going balls out racing in January,
okay,
you are going to run into the thing when the good weather comes. You're burned out already. You're training because it's always one of those things I ran into with people who, when they first got into these, most of your training shouldn't be super hard.
Yeah.
Right. It's just putting in the reps. It's putting in the work, right? It's building the foundation. And if you really get into cycling, one of the problems is that going hard and racing is fun. But if you do that too often, you literally burn out.
And get really moody.
And it's one of those things where then your performance starts to go down.
Yeah. Because
you can't, in a linear fashion, keep going up forever.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you're like us where you love mountain biking, but it's, you're not really, you want to be in good enough shape to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
But, you're not racing anymore. Then, having time off, go snowshoeing, go cross-country skiing in the winter, do a lot of the stuff we're talking about. Then when you get back to riding in the spring, it's exciting and fun, right? But, if you are somebody who races, you do need to have that fitness foundation that you've built, sport-specific fitness.
Yeah.
So, most of your training should be zone 2. It's boring.
But that's where you have cycles of training, like, 5 weeks at a time. And then you have a deload week after that where you scale it back. You're still working out, but then you have massive gains, and then you start something different. And we're going to do another podcast where we kind of help you plan out your year, right? And how to pick what for when. For example, you want to do harder training in the winter, especially if you're not doing much outdoors, and save your time in the summer to do less training inside and go out and have fun.
Yeah.
you know, and we've got some pretty good programs, you know, and I'm pretty excited about what we're going to do and how we're structuring it. Because we were saying the easy strength program is really more ideal for the summer, given it's only 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Right. When you're doing that in the winter, you're like, I could use something more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because that's what you did just before Christmas.
It was even hard. Like I had 2 weeks that I had to do. I did each of the weeks over because I felt like I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So it took me 7 weeks instead of 5 to do it. And it was so easy. It was almost like mentally, can you just do the minimum?
Yeah.
And do it? Can you commit? It's like people telling us to stay home and watch Netflix during COVID.
Yeah.
Can you just do it?
Can you be a hero?
Anyway. But, you know, I'm also looking at, this gets in more into rehabilitation, but I think it's an important piece of your gym is a foam roller. Love it. Use it all the time.
Foam roller, lacrosse balls.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own massage table.
We do.
Like I'm looking at, you know, my massage therapist right now. You know, like having different practices that outside of getting fitter, you know, and I did air quotes, you know, the workout part, it's the maintenance, right?
Yeah.
You know, and we do a lot of that in our warm-ups too, before our workouts.
We do.
But I'll even have like tonic days, you know, where if I'm feeling a bit beaten up, my whole quote unquote workout will be mobility. It'll be original strength, like a lot of baby movements.
Literally.
Yeah. Crawling, nodding, hip rocking, you know, maybe hang from the pull-up bar just to open up the shoulders. You know, so none of it's very hard. You know, you wouldn't really, it doesn't feel like a workout. It's just getting yourself loose. You know, I'll do a lot of one-legged balance and stretching movements. You know, the kind of stuff that I don't tend to work on during the workouts. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll work a lot of that. And then the next day when I come back for a real workout, if you want to call it, I feel way better. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's sort of that kind of thing where you need to balance, you know, the body maintenance with the work part of it, you know? And I think that's one of the things too, that if most of your workouts aren't beating the shit out of you, right? They're just work. You know, you put some work in, but you generally, like, you should feel better after a workout than when you went into it.
Yeah, and
You know?
I think that's the mistake people make is when they go into a gym maybe because of what they've been told to do. They tend to go home and the next day they can't walk for the next 4 days of the week, right? And that's when you've done too much.
Yeah. Or
and
even when the workout's over, they feel like they've been run over by a truck, right? Like people judge a workout by like how sweaty it made them and how out of breath it made them.
Especially if they're doing things like, whether it be with other people,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe CrossFit, and they're trying to keep up. And,
Yeah.
you know, you really need to look at where you need to be and build, because you got to look at what's sustainable, what's going to keep you coming back. Otherwise, it's pointless. And that's the part. And then going back to original fitness,
Original strength.
Original strength, yeah, is that I couldn't believe how big of a gain I got out of it, doing what to me was so little.
Oh, do you mean easy strength?
Yeah.
Oh, not original
Oh,
strength.
I said original, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, the easy strength. Where
People got to come up with better names for their systems.
They do.
Because it's like you have easy strength.
Yeah, the original strength is what babies do.
Yeah.
Basically getting adults to do that again, because we never do it anymore.
Yeah. It's crawling, rolling.
It helps reconnect the neural pathways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, having, you know, your gym have these elements to support recovery, even meditation, you know what I mean? Having that space. What I love is, because my office is in the kitchen just directly from the gym, I do have like the lacrosse ball. I used it today to help roll out my feet as I was on a call. Mm-hmm. So you're multitasking, right? This is perfect.
Yeah.
I had my, what do they call for your fingers? The extensor?
The resistance bands.
Yeah, where if you want to work your forearms, especially for climbing.
Yeah, the back of your forearms to balance things out.
Yeah, you can do that while you're on a call, right? So just having these things nearby. My resistance bands, I like to have them too, so I can take them in each hand and. I don't know what you call that, but you're trying to open up your back. So
some shoulder stretches.
Yeah, you just move it around because right now I could use it. But it's just handy to have all those things near you, even at your office. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think we've covered it.
Yeah. So, it's that thing of like, remember the workouts don't have to just be at a gym. You have a little bit of stuff and you can make fabulous progress. And it doesn't have to be like, I would much rather see people commit to like half an hour 3 times a week, and actually do it, right? Than, some sort of elaborate program and hours and all this kind of thing and not actually get anything, like stick with it. Because we know the key is sticking with things long term, right? So like a strength and conditioning program that is done in a way that, it's simple, it hits a bunch of things, half an hour, and you do it at home. So that then, boom, you're back to, like, tonight when we were working out in between sets, you were getting dinner ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I do that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Every minute on the minute. Yeah. It might take me,
30 seconds to do a set.
Not even, 20 seconds. The other 40 seconds, I'll go and move that dinner.
And then I just yell, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, boom. And then, you got your workout done. And
yeah. And meanwhile, you're getting dinner ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really great. And it's just been fabulous to bring the kids along with us on this, on this.
Because you don't want weak, out of shape kids.
No, they're especially when we want to go hiking and stuff. They start to surpass us. What was it? I noticed this on our trip to Quebec. We reached that point. It was going downhill. Obviously, and maybe this is just going to be natural anyway. It takes me a lot longer to go down because of my knees.
Yeah.
Hiking down, snowshoeing down, whatever. But they're fast. But that's probably to be expected because they're kids. Whereas going uphill, they get way tired.
Yeah.
I actually outperform them, which is kind of funny for kids.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, remember, you train more than they do.
Yeah.
Right. And you're better at suffering than they are too.
Yeah, I guess there was a time it would have been hard for me too, but not anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at them like, why? You know what was funny was when I came back on our first hike, we were gone for 2 hours. I'm like, do you want to go to the other place and go? They're like, can we just go back and take a nap?
Yeah.
And I start laughing. I'm like, oh, you guys are out of shape.
Yeah, I've talked about this before, though. There's the X, right? Because, we're getting older, so eventually we're going to start going downhill. And eventually they're coming uphill. And there will be a point where we cross where we're both at the same fitness level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the whole point is hold that off as long as possible.
Yeah.
So.
There you go.
Yeah. So until next time, hopefully, if you guys have any questions, go to our website, livewildradio.com. You can send us, comments, questions, any of that kind of stuff.
Are we going to put our links to our gear? We probably should.
What we use?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll put that in the show notes. Mm-hmm. Then you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook, Live Wild Radio. Engage.
We like
engaging.
And if you liked this episode, do us a favor, share it.
Yep. And if the app that you get it from has a rating.
Oh, yes, please.
Please give us ratings.
Yes, we really do ask for that because it
helps with the algorithm or something.
Gets us more on the radar, gets us more across other people's,
recommendations,
etc.
Blah, blah, blah. Because it's one of these things. It's like everybody and their brother, like we started before the pandemic. But during the pandemic, everybody and their brother has started a podcast. So, we're fighting it out with everybody now.
Yeah.
So if you like what we're doing, share it, like it, subscribe it. I don't know how all this shit works.
There we go.
So until next time, work hard.
Play dirty.